You're listening to Find Your Strong with Christine and Ella. I'm Christine, a personal trainer.
And I'm Ella, a nutritionist. And we're both also intuitive eating counselors, both fiercely non-diet and both done with toxic wellness messaging.
In these episodes, we talk honestly about how to care for your body without guilt, shame, or restriction. We are so glad you're here. Let's find your strong. So, hello everybody, and welcome back to Find Your Strong podcast. This is, I love this episode. We had the wonderful, the amazing Nana Crawford. Her handle on Instagram is This Black Woman Can. She has created Jigglefitt, which you may have heard of. If you haven't, go look it up. It's amazing. And what did we talk about today, Ella? We talked about sort of feeling disconnected from your body, how movement can really change that and can help that, and how your body can do so much more than you think it can. And it actually already is doing so much more than you realize. What else would you say?
Well, I mean, that's that in a nutshell. She's also she was just so she was A, so lovely, and B, she made real sense to me in the sense that she was talking about her own journey, how she reconnected to her body, relearned who she was, what she enjoyed. It was just really interesting to hear it from a perspective of it doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about, making the movement count and making movement give you the joy back and connecting you back to your body. I love that so much.
And, she says joyful jiggles. So she wants to create joyful jiggles across the UK.
And jiggle journeys.
Jiggle journeys. Her mission is to make wellness accessible and actually inclusive for everybody. And each of Nana's classes is crafted to provide unique and holistic workout experience that is fun and transformative. I mean, I'd almost given up on dance before she came on today. And it makes me want to go and actually look out a few more dance types and find what works. But it was just such a joyful conversation, but it also was real. So it wasn't just like, oh, I feel wonderful in my body all the time. It was like I felt completely disconnected. Here's what helped me. So for me, I just loved it, and I loved her energy, and it was a great conversation which you will enjoy. So hang around, listen to the conversation, and let us know what you think. So welcome, Nana. How are you?
I'm good. Even on this grey day, I'm good actually. Today is a good day for me.
Good.
Yeah, the weather's a bit sucky at the minute, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Where are you, Nana?
I'm in South London, so I'm in Croydon.
Oh, you're not that far from me then. You're kind of halfway between Christine and me. I'm in Sevenoaks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So just having come back from Greece, so I went to Crete not that long ago, and I just feel sad that I'm not basking in the sun, with drinks in my hand, and my kids feeding me grapes.
How did you manage that? I've never got my kids to feed me anything.
It's for extra pool time. Pool time.
I love it.
I'm taking notes.
I think this is the perfect time of year, isn't it, to go on a little hot holiday?
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like, forget the summer. Why do people go away in the summer to hot places? Stay here. It's fine.
Yeah. And once the weather turns, you kind of need to go at that time, like between autumn verging on. When it starts to get dark, that's when you need more light. So yeah, it was well timed and very much needed.
I would love to. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever listened to an episode of this podcast, but we can talk and we can go on tangents. I want to actually ask about your story, Nana, just in case we get off on another tangent.
Yeah.
Because I'm really interested to know basically as much as you can tell us about how you got started, how you created Jigglefitt.
Yeah.
I mean, you're certainly, I've been sort of watching your account grow and grow and grow and grow. And with that, obviously, there are trolls, there are people that, in that space, as we know, that makes it very difficult. But just how have you navigated everything? Sorry, that's
All
a
of
big
that.
question.
Start from the very beginning.
All of it.
Okay, so it all kind of started for me back in 2020, and it was perhaps maybe even a little bit before that. So I have 2 kids, and when I had my second child, my son, I felt very disconnected from my body, like extremely disconnected from my body. And growing up at that time, the media perception about women and birth and everything was all around bouncing back, right? Bouncing back to whoever it was that you used to be. So in my head, I thought, I feel really disconnected because I haven't bounced back. And that's what I need to do. I need to bounce back. So I went hard, and I went in hard at the gym, and I signed up for like loads of fitness transformation programs, and I did everything I could possibly do to bounce back. And I lost weight, and, you know, I felt good-ish, but there was still a part of me that felt still, if not actually even more disconnected from my body. And I couldn't understand why my bounce back hadn't got me feeling really, really great. So I stopped going to the gym and everything, and I put all the weight back on that I had worked to bounce back to, you know. And there was a time where I just felt really, really sad about everything. And I decided that maybe the best thing for me to do is just focus on being a mum. If I focus on being a mum, then everything will fall into place and life will be great. So I did that. I focused on my mothering duties. I focused on my career. I focused on my relationship with my husband. And there was still this like nagging voice in the back of my head that was just like, but why do we still feel so disconnected? Like, what's going on? And it was actually my husband that was just like, you need to find something to do for yourself, because you do everything for everyone else, but you don't really spend time doing stuff for yourself. So that was the journey that sort of led me here. And I decided to go into dancing. I've always loved dancing. My parents have, you know, raised me and my sister in a household filled with music. We've always had music. My parents are both really joyful, and they will find any occasion to dance, they will dance. So I've always associated dance with joy and that freedom and that feeling. So I decided to get back into dancing, and I went to a samba class, and it was so difficult. And I was like, why am I doing this? But I loved it at the same time. And I couldn't explain that feeling that I had afterwards of trying something completely new, failing at it, but still feeling really successful in the fact that I just done it for myself. And that feeling, I wanted to feel that all the time. So I decided that I'm going to learn samba, and I'm going to see where it takes me. And maybe by learning samba, that will help me process, you know, that those feelings that I'm having about my body. And maybe the problem isn't bouncing back. Maybe the problem is that I don't actually know who I am anymore, and that I don't know what my body can do anymore, and I haven't given myself the chance to get to know myself again. And that journey has basically led me to where I am now with Jigglefitt. So that journey, that process of dancing, of improving, of, you know, learning a new skill, of feeling accomplished in, you know, that every time I go to a different class, I feel like I'm learning more and more. And that growth has allowed me to almost reset the relationship that I have with my body. You know, like I'm doing stuff with my body now that I couldn't do before, even when I was in a smaller body. And it's amazing how much you can achieve when you kind of say to yourself, right, okay, I've had a baby. Fine. I've had another baby. Okay, fine. My body is not the same. It is not the same body that I used to have. So let's get to know each other again, and let's work on that relationship. And that's basically what I've really been working on. I'm still working on it today. You know, it's not a case of, right, I've done all this dance, I'm now a teacher, so now me and my body are like besties. There are days where I do sometimes feel like I'm waking up in a stranger's body, and I have to learn to love myself every day even more. And that's the journey that I'm trying to help others kind of go on. And that journey for me looks jiggly. And the reason why I use the word jiggly is because the fitness industry always paints this picture of tight, toned bodies, right? Rock hard abs. You hear all that all the time. And there is nothing in the fitness industry that talks about celebrating your jiggles and celebrating the wobbly bits and all that kind of stuff. And those are the bits that I had the hardest time getting to feel in my body when I started dancing. But once I kind of let go and just allowed myself to kind of jiggle freely, the more joy I felt and the more kind of freedom I felt from that movement. And that's where sort of Jigglefitt was born. It's, you know, fitness, a little bit of fitness, a whole lot of jiggles. And that's what I always say to people. If you come here, it's not, yes, I want to help you get fit. I want you to feel movement. I want you to enjoy movement. But most importantly, I want you to feel the freedom that comes from just allowing your body to just jiggle and to move. And whatever jiggles you have, we'll move it and we'll celebrate it and we'll love it. And that has kind of been the journey for me. And as you were saying, along that journey, you will get people that still have that mind of what fitness should be, right? What fitness instructors should look like. And that if you are in the fitness space, then shouldn't you just be losing weight? Isn't that what your goal is? And it's like, well, no, actually, my goal was to get to know myself again and to love myself again. And can't that be a goal that I can celebrate? You know, if someone wants to lose weight, that's great for them. That's their goal. But we can both exist within the same space and have different goals and have different, you know, outcomes and, you know, go about it in different ways. And that's the biggest message that I'm trying to fight now, is that I can look like how I look. I can do all the activities that I do, and it doesn't have to be related to weight loss. It doesn't have to be related to changing my body. It can just be related to loving myself and enjoying my body and enjoying the space that I'm in and helping others do the same.
Yeah. Oh, love that so much.
Me too.
Can I just jump in with a question?
Yes.
It sounds like that sort of reconnection for you was very much in the dancing, in the moving your body in a sort of a dance type way. Would you say there is something specific about dance that makes it easier to connect? I mean, not just for you, obviously for you that work, but would you say sort of in general, dance is actually a really good medium to allow that to happen, that reconnection, that jiggle, that kind of freedom of movement? Because a lot of other sort of exercise modalities are very structured and very much you have to do it like this. And often it's based on, you know, if you don't do it correctly, you could do yourself an injury. With dance, it seems freer just by default. Would you say?
I would say that, like, I think what I love about dance is that it's so varied. It's so varied. And often I feel like people pigeonhole themselves in dance, and they'll see a dance and assume that they can't do it and then think, oh, dance is not for them. And they're looking at it through this really tiny lens when there's all this other dance styles and dance types happening all around them, and they're not opening themselves up to everything else. And I feel like that's why often a lot of people think that dance isn't for them. And it's not because it's not for you, it's because you haven't found the right thing. You know, and sometimes you have to go to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, even 10 lessons to start to feel what it is that you're feeling and to start to kind of know what it's right. And especially depending on the style, there is structure in dance, and there is, you know, there are very certain steps that you do and everything else. But what makes it so enjoyable, and if you have the right teacher, they will encourage you to do the steps and then feel them and feel them in your body and feel them how it's supposed to feel for you, and for you to kind of interpret it the way that you want to interpret it. So if it's like a shoulder shimmy, you know, like, do you like the shoulder shimmy? Do you not like the shoulder shimmy? If you don't like the shoulder shimmy, what's an alternative for you? And I think that often people see dancers or dance instructors and think, right, they've done it like this, I have to do it exactly like that. And it's like, no, you can learn how they're doing it, and then you can decide whether you want to do it or not. And you can make that decision for yourself. And I feel like that's what makes dance so accessible And I think people make it inaccessible by looking at it in that kind of rigid way, in that frame, and thinking, oh, salsa is like this and I can't do that. And also it can be, I would say it can be difficult if you are of a certain shape or size and the class that you're going to doesn't have anyone that feels representative of you. That can also make it feel exclusive. And that's another hurdle that you have to overcome when it comes to dance. But dance is for everyone. It's for everyone and anyone of all shapes, of all sizes, of all abilities. And that is the message that I really, really want people to kind of understand, and to just book a dance class and just go, and just, what's the worst that can happen? You can fail at it, but you did it. You did it.
We talk a lot about dance, actually, Nana, but this is such a good conversation, because I recently started a contemporary dance class because
Nice.
I felt called to do it somehow, but I'm not the most graceful person. And the teacher was, very sort of ballet dancer, very accomplished ballet dancer, and quite strict, lovely, but quite strict. And I couldn't get my toes to do the right thing, because my feet aren't great, they're not very mobile. And I was in the beginners for a year and a half, and I kept thinking, is there any way I'm not going to be a beginner? Am I just gonna... And so I think I loved the class, and it pushed me, and it was hard, and I loved the music, and I loved moving to the music, but I felt so out of my depth, and it almost made me lose confidence and feel... I feel more shy to dance now than I have ever done. And that's nothing to do with the teacher. He's great, but it just maybe wasn't the right. And I think what you're saying is really making me think I've just pigeonholed the entire dance movement because of that one class.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm not alone in doing that.
Yeah. And it is, and that's why I feel like sometimes if you're going to a dance class and you feel either really frustrated, you feel like you're not progressing, or you're kind of almost like regressing in a way, emotionally, mentally, there are different things that you need to do. You need to try another variation of that style. So within that genre, you can pick a different style and see, actually, maybe I can try something else. Try the complete opposite. That's also something that will make you appreciate what you're currently doing, because you'll do something complete opposite and be like, oh my god, this is impossible, let me just go back to that class and realize that I'm actually much better than I thought I was. Or talk to the teacher. Often I'll have people ask me about, they'll say, oh, I've been coming to these classes and I feel like I'm not progressing, and I can be the one to say, well, actually, you're progressing really, really well, because you're unaware, but when you came 3 weeks ago, you couldn't do this, and now you're doing it. And they're like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, because you're so in in your own head as well a lot of the time, and that it's really hard to kind of even see your own progress and to celebrate your own progress. And you'll often find that there are people around that are noticing that you're progressing, but people are often so shy to kind of talk to each other, or even say like, well done. And so it's creating that environment. And I always try and create that environment in my classes for people to be able to notice that person's done really well, or to be able to say to a student, oh, last week you couldn't do this move, but now you're doing it. And they'll often be like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, I couldn't do this move and I am doing it. So there are lots of dances out there, and maybe contemporary just wasn't like for you, or maybe even like now that you've done contemporary as a base, there are lots of other dance styles that use contemporary as a base. Jazz, you could try jazz. Maybe the music will be more joyful and feeling for you, and you can take that into a different form. So I would say that you can look at opening yourself up to lots of different dance styles.
Oh, this is fabulous.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I hadn't really considered that either, because I do like the idea of dancing. I don't think, like Christine, I'm probably not the best at it, but it's so easy to just want to do it perfectly and not actually feeling it. It's way too easy for my brain, for sure, to go into, oh shit, I just completely didn't get that step, I cannot remember anything, well, I'm so bad at it. And I was saying, I think it was on a different on a previous recording, that I started a sort of dance fit class on a Monday night, and there are a couple of men, that's it, the rest is sort of middle-aged women, so my age or older, and the two guys just can't remember anything. They've been doing it for weeks. They can't remember anything. They have the best time.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to jiggle here and I'm just going to throw my arms up. And they're like, I'm coming back. And they've been doing it for ages. And that's the kind of feeling I think you were describing. It's just like, yeah, just feel it. Just move. Like,
Yeah. And
what does
sometimes
it
you
matter
should,
if you get the steps wrong, right?
yeah, and sometimes it's helpful. Like if you can't decide on a dance style or class, think about the music that you like to listen to. And that will often help you lead you down to, you know, okay, well, if I really love listening to jazz, or I really love listening to soca, or I love high energy kind of music, that can give you an indication of the kind of music that you want to hear in the class. Because if you're a super high energy person and you love music that's really high energy, then maybe a ballet class isn't right for you, because the music is going to be very different. The style is going to be very different, unless that's exactly what you're looking for, because you're so used to this, you know, this type of genre. So often I say to people, like, what music do you like? When people ask me like for advice in terms of dance, I'll be like, well, what kind of music do you like? And then once they tell me, I'll be like, oh, actually, if you tried this type of style, that would be a really great style for you, because it's music that you're familiar with. And once you're familiar with something, you kind of loosen up a little bit more. It feels a little bit more comfortable, and you'll find that you'll absorb whatever it is that you're doing a lot easier as well.
Is that what drew you to samba then, and soca?
So with samba, I was the opposite, in the sense that it's regarded as one of the hardest dances in the kind of like Latin American space. So I was drawn to it because I thought, if this is really hard, maybe I can set myself a challenge to get really good at it. You know, in that way. And that was my goal. I was like, if I can get to the stage where it feels completely natural to me, or I can trick people into thinking that I'm Brazilian, then maybe I've done a good enough job. So for me, it was more the challenge of it, as opposed to, and obviously as I've gone through it, I've completely fallen in love with it. But yeah, it was more about the challenge. I was like, this looks like a good enough challenge for me, and I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm going to go for it.
I love that. I love samba music. I've recently started samba drumming, so I could just kind of see that dancing it might actually be.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the music. It's just like all the shimmying and all of the loose body thing that I struggle with. But I think maybe that's a good challenge
There you go.
to take on.
What you were talking about, we'll circle back to what you were. I don't like that phrase, circle back, but I'm
No,
using it.
we haven't found another one yet
I know,
to
it's
replace
journey
that one.
and circle back. We got to get rid of those.
Yeah.
But you were talking about, I'm really interested in this feeling. So you didn't feel comfortable in your body, and it is that, or you didn't feel connected to your body. And it is, I always talk to clients who are having really bad body image struggles, or they're really not feeling good about themselves. I always encourage them to get into their body and move. And it is that sort of living body versus objectified body. It's like, rather than looking at yourself from the outside, how you imagine other people perceive you, it's trying to, how does your body feel? How do you want it to feel? And just really, and when you're moving your body, you are more in tune with it, because you don't really have, and I find it so powerful. And I wonder if you ever still have those days where you're not feeling great. Maybe somebody shitty online said something to you. Does it help? Would you turn to movement, or how would you sort of navigate those times?
So if I wake up, or if I read something and it makes me feel ugh, and that's probably the word that I would use to describe it, like ugh, I will always do one of two things. I will watch my own progress. So I will go back through videos where I wasn't as good, and kind of almost celebrate the progress that I've made, because that for me is really validating, to be like, look at how far you've come with your body. Look at how much you can move it now, you know? So that will always be one avenue that I'll turn to. And then the other avenue that I'll turn to is almost sitting down and thinking about the relationship I used to have versus the relationship I have now, and the things that I notice about myself now versus what I completely ignored before. And also just championing the fact that I have a body that grew to humans, and that I have to celebrate the fact that
Yeah.
that's happened, and I have to enjoy that fact. Like, I didn't really like pregnancy. I didn't like being pregnant. Don't know why I did it twice, but I didn't like being pregnant. But I didn't mind birth. I actually didn't mind giving birth. That side of it for me was actually fine. But I didn't like the pregnancy side. And I think the reason I didn't like the pregnancy side was because I couldn't control what was happening to me. I felt very not in control. As I was getting bigger, I didn't feel like I could control the size that I was. I couldn't really control my cravings very much, and everything felt out of control. And I think that sort of feeling is why I then had that sort of disconnect. And I tried to get it back by controlling and restricting myself and moving in a way that felt like, right, I'm now in control of what's happening, rather than just accepting that what has happened and having a moment to process. I don't think I really gave myself the time to say to my body, thanks for carrying 2 kids, and thanks for getting them to this stage, and you're an amazing body for doing that. And I think it was maybe 2 years ago, we went on a holiday, and I actually wrote a letter to myself, to kind of like, to almost say everything that I would say to my body if my body was standing in front of me. These are the things that I would say. And I remember kind of reading it out loud and kind of making peace in that moment with myself. And I feel like we all kind of need to do that in those times. And then, and I just honestly just feel like I have a new mission now, and I have a new goal. And that goal isn't just for others out there, but also for myself, and to kind of really stay grounded in this goal and this journey, and how hard I've worked to get to this stage. And I can't let someone who's going to, comment and be like, oh, fitness instructors should all have flat stomachs, and be like, mate, do you want to come samba with me? Like,
exactly.
grab your heels, let's go. 4/8 of samba, let's see who lasts longest. So I always have to kind of remind myself of why I'm here and how I got here, and that really helps me kind of combat those negative Nancy's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, I did running, I do a little running club, and one of my runners was kind of really worrying about her belly and didn't like her belly. And one of my other runners said, I love my belly because they used some fat from her tummy to reconstruct, doing a breast reconstruction after breast cancer. So she felt so connected and grateful that she had enough on her belly so that could actually be,
that's amazing.
The way she spoke about it in such a beautiful, loving way, and it made her so grateful for her body exactly as it was.
Yeah.
And it made us all go, oh, wow. It really stuck with me, because I think we're so hard on ourselves, and our bodies are working so hard. They're working so hard to kind of keep us alive and keep us thriving. And do you know what? Most people, you're not, if you don't have everybody's supposed to be different. Bodies are diverse for a reason. And we're all trying to fit this, white supremacist patriarchal ideal of the thin body, when actually that's not our body type. That's not our, we can force ourselves into it, but you will fight it your entire life. You will fight to keep that. And, your body just won't be a happy body. So sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now, but I love what your mission. It just makes me so happy. I don't know. It makes me want to get into dance again, Ella.
Right, me too. I'm going to look up samba classes in the area.
Come to mine.
I think Christine, you're right. I think we are so mean to ourselves, but I think we're mean mostly to how our bodies look rather than what our bodies can do. Because if we really stopped and reflected on it and did what Nana did, like just write a letter to ourselves, our bodies, we would actually realize how much they do for us, how much they enable us to do, how much they help us experience the world. But because we're so damn focused on what they look like and
Yeah.
seeing them as a thing, as an object, rather than an instrument. That's what kind of completely sidetracks us, doesn't it? I'm
Yeah.
sure when you ask someone, they're all going to be grateful that, you know, they are able to do whatever they're able to do. But this other thing drowns everything, any gratefulness out. This like, oh,
Yeah.
I need to lose some weight. I need to, you know, my hairs, my skin, my wrinkles, my whatever. That drowns everything else out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
I would
yeah.
recommend to, like, if anyone feels like they don't really have that appreciation for what their body can do, make a list. Like,
Mm.
honestly, make a list. I have a Google Keep a file, and I have a notes, and every time I achieve something, I write it down. So I'll just be
Oh,
like, oh, I went to class today and I've learned how to do this move. Or I noticed that, you know, I can actually raise onto my toes much higher than I could before. And it doesn't matter how big. It's not about the size of the celebration and what it is that you can do. It can be the smallest thing, from like, I didn't understand how to move my arms in this move, you know, 2 weeks ago. Now I get it. You know, not
Mm.
necessarily I'm doing it well, but I get it. I understand it. And my
Mm.
body kind of like, it's starting to settle into my body. And the more that you can kind of keep adding to that list, when you go back to it, you'll just see that progression and kind of see it happening. And also, if you can timestamp it, then that's a really great way to kind of mark that journey that you've been on, and to be able to kind of really see the growth that you have, especially if you're one of those people that doesn't like to see your own body on camera. And that's, I get people who come to class and they want to make progress, but they don't want to film themselves because they feel they're still kind of having that journey. So I'll say to them, okay, well, let's write stuff down. Let's write something that you've done this week that you've, you know, been able to, let's celebrate this. You've been able to move your bum up. Great. Let's tick that off. You know, I can move my bum up. Great. You know, so
yeah.
it doesn't always have to be visual, especially if you are still trying to kind of cope with seeing yourself in that way. You can write it down, and you can kind of like use words to help you navigate those feelings.
It's like, I love the messages if I ever get from clients like, oh, I was able to lift my daughter over my shoulder today without any problem. Like, they send me these little messages that they were able to do stuff that they weren't able to do because they've built strength in their body, or they've moved in a different way. And there's nothing better for me and for them to actually write that down and realize, look, I have made that progress.
Yeah.
You know, I was here. And I think that's such a nice thing to do, isn't it, Ella? That's going to
Yeah, it
be
has relevance to your actual
relevant.
life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
we have questions, but haven't asked any of them yet.
We're
Go on, ask
almost
Loads
out
of
away.
of
questions.
time as well.
So
Ask
this one,
away.
so when you're talking, I love what you're saying, because I feel the same. I very much am goal driven. It's my goals change. So rather than you having that one, and maybe you've got loads of different goals, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
But I can go too hard. So
Mhm.
I can push myself, because but I do also really love working hard and moving and feeling it, you know. So there's that fine line between pushing yourself, punishing yourself.
Yes.
And how do you tread that?
So most of the time, it will be someone else that reminds me that that's happening. Honestly, because I can
Mm.
get so into it, that I kind of like have my, like, have everything. Everything is here. I'm laser focused on this thing, and I can't see it happening. So the best people to help you navigate that are the people that are closest to you, that see you in your everyday, that see you kind of like going for your goals, but then you're not taking any breaks, or you're not doing that. So my husband is my kind of check-in. So he will be like, what's going on? Hello, you know, like, let's snap out of it. You're spending too much time on this thing. Or, you know, okay, so what if you don't do this thing today? Like, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen, you know? So I would always say that you need to have a buddy. If you can have a buddy that
Yeah.
can help keep you in check, but also take you out of that focus from time to time, it's a really great way for you to make, just so that you don't put all that pressure on yourself, because you are one person, and it's very hard to go for your goals, to push really hard, but then also remind yourself to take a step back. So it's okay to have someone else do that for you. And it's also okay to accept that someone else has to do that for you. That was something that I could not do at the beginning, was accept that I needed help, or that, I couldn't do everything on my own. And to have someone there to remind you that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to have someone, check in on you, that's completely fine. So I would say that for me, especially, it's having someone there to help pull me out of those moments where I feel like I am punishing myself, but I can't see it, because I feel like I'm going for my goals and doing all this, but I'm missing my lunches, or I'm spending too much time on my phone, or, all this kind of stuff, or I'm writing down 100 ideas, but not doing any of them. So yeah, so my husband is like my check-in for that.
I love that. I like that a lot, and I think you're bang on with the fact that asking for help can be really, really tricky. I mean, there's another thing that society has taught us, right? We need to do everything ourselves, right?
Yeah. It's a terrible
Absolutely.
message. It's actually
No.
honestly the worst message, because yes, you can go for your goals, and yes, there is a strength in being able to achieve something by yourself, but also there's equally something great about being able to achieve it with the help of others.
Definitely.
And being able to kind of invite people in as you're going through that journey and going through whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And no one has ever achieved anything just solely by themselves, because it might be something they think they've done themselves, but maybe the idea came from someone else, and people kind of often overlook that, or a conversation they had with someone that led them to have this idea, and then they've forgotten the fact that they had this conversation, someone that lent them £10 that they were able to buy this thing that has now. So there's always that connection. There's always something, and there's always someone that's helped you to do something as well. It's just paying attention and taking notice of it.
And becoming aware of that. Definitely. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I had a question down, which was I love your tagline. That's not the right word. Your handle. So this Black woman can.
Yes.
Now, well done for getting that, because that's, do you know what I mean? There's some that are just, oh, that is just the best. And this is not up to you to answer. So I don't know why I'm asking it, but I just want to, I want to bring it up because it's really important to me. How can we, as white women in the fitness space, how can we elevate marginalized voices in the space? And so I'm doing an inclusive kettlebell course at the minute with Damali Fraser, who I absolutely love. But, she makes the point that you can say you're inclusive, but are you inclusive? So are you paying lip service to, or are you actually being inclusive? And I'm just interested to know how you feel in terms of people in the space elevating, or so, how do we promote more Black-owned businesses in the fitness space?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many elements to it, but the main thing that I'll always say to people is try not to follow trends, right? So if it's Black History Month, let's take Black History Month, for example. Black History Month, you're thinking, okay, great, it's Black History Month. This is a great time for me to support Black businesses, to help push out Black businesses. And, I've seen this thing that initiative that someone's doing, I'm going to support it. Great. And then Black History Month finishes.
And that's it.
And then that's it. Don't hold yourself to that trend and say to yourself, okay, well, it's this month, I'm going to do everything I can this month, and then that's it. Think about what comes after that. If you have started during Black History Month, don't end it during Black History Month. Carry on those relationships, carry on the journey that you're going on, whatever it is that you're learning, the people that you're promoting. If you're interested in their story, be interested in their story, not just for that month, but, continuing and moving forward as well. And also recognize where your place is within that story, and where, how you fit into that puzzle. So if you are, for example, if you are really interested in a dance style that's not of your culture, but you're helping to promote it, then speak to the people that are in that culture and say, what can I do to help promote this? How can I help elevate, what it is that you're doing, and, share it with other people can I come to a class and see what it feels like, and talk to people that come to a class and see how I can better talk about it and navigate it as well. And I feel like often there's this disconnect in the sense of we want to help people want to help people in marginalized communities from here, from this, but they don't want to go over into, because they feel like they don't belong in that space. Well, it's like, well, actually, why don't you talk to people so you can be invited into that space? And once you're invited into that space, respect the fact that you're in that space, respect the culture, respect their voices, and do the work in that space. And and also don't take offense if they're like no, because they're also allowed to say, actually, you know what, I don't really want you in this space. You can go, okay, that's cool, that's fine, and don't take offense to it, and move on, but also still keep on that education that you're doing with yourself. I think inclusive is a really interesting word because it actually means different things to different people. And what you'll often find is that when people say they're inclusive and you go to their class and you see everyone that looks exactly the same as the person that's teaching the class, or you start to wonder, okay, what does inclusive mean for them? Is it inclusive because they've got a really great time? Like I've spoken to an instructor, it was a couple of years ago, who said that they were super, super inclusive because they do classes all year round. And I was like, that's not inclusive. That's just sorry. That's just terrible. That's just time. I was like, I don't even know what the word is. That's not inclusive. I was like, inclusive is when you are actively trying to welcome people from all different types of backgrounds, and your own limitations within that, and you think about the language that you're using, you think about how you're portraying yourself, you think about your advertising, you think about all of those things make you more inclusive, not the fact that you're open from 3 till 6 instead of 6 till 7. And I was just like, wow, that was the first time I was like, okay, so inclusive really does mean different things for different people. So as a fitness instructor or a dance instructor or a teacher, a leader, whatever it is, if you're saying that you're inclusive, you have to really decide, what does that mean for you? And also be happy with that meaning, and be happy with whatever it is that it means for you. And if someone calls you out on it, be willing to have the conversation. Don't just be really standoffish. Be willing to have that conversation to say, oh, actually, maybe I am not as inclusive as I thought I was being. Because I've had people message me to say, like, I would love to come to the classes, but I know that they're very heavily women. There's lots of women in your classes. And I've had some guys message me to say they want to come to my class, but it's all women, and you say that you're really inclusive, can I come to the class? And I go, yeah, you can come to the class, but if you're going to come to the class just to stare at bums, then no, you can't come to the class, because that's not the purpose of the class. And I'm willing to have that conversation and call people out if they have the wrong agenda. So it's just about, I am inclusive, but if you come to the class, you're coming because you want to learn, because you want to be part of this community, because you want to celebrate yourself and each other, not because you want to stand there and gawk at, all these delicious bums in front of you. So I would say that, like, trying to go back to the point that you were saying, is that you want to, if you're going to support the work that people are doing, then make sure that it doesn't have an expiry date.
Very good point.
Otherwise it's just performative, isn't it? It's just just performing to whatever. And I love your perspective on that. It's really helpful to hear. Also quite thought-provoking in the sense of, I think we should all probably think about how inclusive we are. And as you said, if we are not, understanding where is that sort of block. And also there are some spaces that are meant to be mostly for women. And is exclusivity in that sense actually a safer space? And just like, there are probably loads of Black organizations that actually want to feel safe and therefore have that exclusivity, and to understand that that is also okay. That is
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
a healthy way of setting boundaries. As in,
Yeah.
as you said earlier, if someone says, no, actually, I would rather you didn't join, to understand, well, that's, that is okay. That is,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
point to be
And
made.
there's plenty of, I would say there is plenty of spaces for people that aren't from marginalized communities.
100%.
And
Yes.
you have to
Too.
recognize that.
Uh-huh.
So when there is a group, so for example, if there's a running group for Black women, don't feel like, oh well, I should be, I should be part of that group, but I'm not a Black woman. Da, 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 da. And it's like, well, okay, but why don't you find a running group for for other women? I'm sure there are other groups that include all sorts of people, not just you go for that one because you think I need to be in that group, right? So I think often that sometimes you see something and you just think, oh well, why aren't they including me? It's like, well, actually ask yourself that. Why aren't they including you? Maybe because they feel that there's so many things out there already for you and there's nothing for them, and that's why they've made this group, and often people don't see it that way. They just think, oh, they've started this thing, they've kept it closed, and it's just like that. So yeah,
there's that viewpoint that inclusivity means that the non-marginalized people need to be included in everything, where, as you said, they have already got everything on their plate. So
And I recently joined a boxing class, and it's for women and marginalized genders. And I sort of asked, it didn't say on the website. So I said, is it okay? I'm straight. Is it all right if I join? And the leader, Christina, who owns it, was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I was like, you don't need to apologize to me. I'm literally, you don't have to start apologizing to straight women. Like, do you know what I mean? She is a gay woman who created this amazing space. And I almost felt, is it okay for me to join? Because I didn't want to take that space from somebody in a marginalized body that, you know what I mean? I didn't, but but equally, we talked to Trey about this as well. These spaces feel very safe because they are welcoming and inclusive, and but that doesn't mean they're for you, as you just said, Ella. So it is about those boundaries, isn't it?
Exactly.
And just having those hard conversations sometimes, which are okay to have,
Yeah. And uncomfortable as well. Like, it's equally uncomfortable for the people who create the group than it is for you to ask these questions, So you have to both kind of have that respect, and that's what I was kind of referring to earlier, is you have to have that respect for what it is that they've created. And if they have said no, they've said no for a reason. They haven't said no because they hate you. They don't know you. They don't know you. They've said no because what they've created doesn't include you right now, and it's okay because it doesn't include you. So but yes, let's not make it a trend. Let's make it a real effort and real work, and know that the real work takes time. As well. It's not, there's no shortcut, as much as social media will make you believe that you can do something in 20 seconds or 10 seconds or 3 days or 5 days, all that kind of stuff. That the real work takes a lot longer.
Don't we know it in terms of the non-diet space, right?
Don't we know? Before we let you go, because we've taken up so much of your precious time, what is next for you? What goals do you have with Jigglefitt? I'm sure you have lots.
I have so many goals. I think my next goal, especially with Jigglefitt, is to try and kind of like onboard more instructors. I would love to get more instructors involved, because at the moment it's just me, myself and I. And I know that there are people out there who feel the same way that I feel, especially within the fitness space, and would love to help plenty of people on their journey, and maybe don't have an avenue to be able to do that. So I would love to be able to do that, and I would love to be able to kind of take Jigglefitt worldwide, essentially. I would love to be able to do that. And just allow people to kind of experience the classes that I've worked really hard on kind of cultivating, and being able to teach more people And I always say that, you know, if I can help one person feel extra jiggly and extra special and extra joyful every day, then I've done my job.
Oh, we're
Love
going to have to
that.
end on that. That's absolutely beautiful. Nana, it's been such a pleasure. We've absolutely loved having you, Ella.
Absolutely. So really lovely to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to put all your details in the show notes. But
Brilliant.
where could people contact you if they want to? Your website probably the best.
Yeah, so they can just go to jigglefitt.com, and it's fit with 2 T's. Or they can just message me on This Black Woman Can on my Instagram, and I'm always open for a chat as well. And if people are looking to start their jiggle journey but they don't know where to begin, then yeah, hit me up.
Oh, Jiggle Journey.
Jiggle
That's
journey.
perfect.
So cool, isn't it? Now
I
we can
love
we
it.
can get on board with the word journey.
Yeah,
If it's
Jiggle
jiggle in
Journey.
front
Oh,
of
I
it,
Jiggle
love
journey.
it.
Yeah.
jiggle journey.
That is brilliant. You have to trademark that immediately.
Yes.
Jiggle Journey.
Yes.
Okay, I will.
But thanks again, Nana.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.